it makes me feel better knowing that they don't have those aircrafts in the air, obviously. I'd seen that on the news the other day. I thought it was extremely, frightening.
I actually feel a little safer because of the fact that they're doing all this checking and making sure. I actually feel very good. But yes, I did remind him to make sure you always keep your seatbelt on no matter what.
I trust in the system, and the system works, so I've never been distrustful. So.
All right, those were some U.S. air travelers there, asked how they felt about flying in the wake of last week's mid-air door blowout on board a Boeing 737 MAX airplane. Alaska Airlines, which operates many flights using that Boeing model, grounded about 100 planes today as safety checks continue. Other carriers, which also use Boeing MAX planes, have reported finding loose bolts during inspections. Boeing's chairman is vowing complete transparency in the investigation process. In the meantime, the White House is reassuring the public that air travel remains safe.
The FAA's priority is always keeping Americans safe. That is most important. I think the American people should feel safe flying.
All right, that's what the White House says. For more analysis, I'm joined now by Stephen Wright. He's a professor of aircraft systems at the University of Tampere in Finland. It's good to have you on the program, Stephen. So would you agree, should the public feel safe about getting inside an airplane and taking off these days?
Good evening. I think that the public should feel safe. Statistically, flying on an aircraft is incredibly safe. The aircraft are made to very high standards. More importantly, they're maintained to even higher standards. It's a highly regulated, safe industry. It's
a highly regulated industry. What about getting a airplane from the blueprint, the drawing board, to the market, the certification process? You say that there maybe needs to be questions raised about how that takes place, if it's too fast, if the quality checks are adequate. Talk to me about that.
Well, the way that I see this particular problem happening is, you've got this huge company, Boeing, and they're overseen by an American regulator, the FAA. And this isn't the first problem that Boeing's had with this particular style of aircraft. The MAX series was, very, very problematic. They had two very, very significant fatal accidents because Boeing decided to put on new technologies that they didn't explain, and it did things that the pilots weren't aware about, and it wasn't their best corporate decision ever. And all of this was overseen by the regulator. The regulator in the States effectively gave Boeing carte blanche to make decisions. Now, one would have expected Boeing to have taken on board lessons learned, I think is the magic word that everybody likes to use. But it seems that maybe this hasn't happened because now you have an aircraft that's coming new out of a factory, and it's got quite significant latent problems with it that are hidden, that the manufacturer doesn't understand and that should be picked up. Well, and things are happening. Yeah.
So this may not be. This isn't a question of proper maintenance. You're saying this could actually be a question of design and engineering.
No, not necessarily the design. The design, I don't believe, is the key issue here, because the doors, the panels that have come off haven't come off because cracks have emerged on metallic structures. As far as I'm aware, they are attributed to missing or incorrectly installed fasteners.
Okay.
And that's quite different. So the problem here is that the assembly process, bluntly, what's happened in the factories that Boeing has conducted by Boeing employees, has then been stamped.
Shoddy workmanship, right? Craftsmanship.
It's stamped and certified. Well, worse than that, it's stamped and certified as being completed to the manufacturer's standard. And clearly, this hasn't happened. We've only found out about it because one of the doors fallen off.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a young child sitting in the airplane. Thank goodness he had a seatbelt on, but it pulled his shirt off. That's how strong the pressure was. Where do we go from here? It sounds like you're saying that the regulatory agency in the United States is basically too cozy with the airline industry. So this independent oversight in America is not working as it should. So how do you fix that?
Honestly, I don't know how you're going to fix this, because one would have thought after the MAX, the previous MAX events with the MCAS, the flight control system, you would have thought the regulator should have picked up on it, and they didn't. And then we had the fatal crashes. And we've moved forward now. This is a couple of years ago, and yet the regulator hasn't. They haven't picked up on it. And this problem is now moving forward. So we found out about this particular problem with the doors. What other problems haven't they detected?
Yeah.
It's a big problem for both the manufacturer and also for the regulator.
Yep. And it's a good reason, if you do have to fly, to always keep your seatbelt fastened. I guess that's really the only thing we can do. Aviation expert and Professor Stephen Wright. Stephen, we appreciate your time and your analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.